Sam, you're first. Bob, you're second. Usually you're first. Martin, what's going on? Frank, what's going on? I'm just noodling. I'm just kind of playing through some chords and stuff. We'll be going in a second here. I think we talked about the different chords you can play that are kind of neighboring chords in a key. So technically when you're in D, you know, the key of D major is probably the best key to write in. But D is also in the key of G. It's the 5 chord. And it's also the 4 chord in the key of A. So I can kind of have a C chord, and I can also have an E major chord. And those are both chords that would you could go to as a kind of a surprise chord if you're making people think that you're in the key of D if you're on your song. So I'm just jamming here in D, and I go, and basically what I'm playing is 5th fret. And then leaving the top 2 strings open, not worrying about the A string at this point. And that's giving me kind of a pseudo G chord, and this gives me a pseudo A chord. And if I want to go to B minor, then I take the top note of these 3 down a half step. For a second there, I thought I was in Dad Gap. There's the C, and that's kind of a surprise chord. I call that a money chord. It just kind of makes people go, wait, what? You know, and what you want to do is, you know, when you're writing, a lot of times you want to kind of lull people into thinking that you're not going to do that. You're going to maybe stay in the same key. I could do B minor, G, D, A. You know, you could do stuff like that with, you know, if you do it every time, then it becomes predictable. But if you throw it in every now and then, it's kind of like, it's an emotional knife in the heart. What the heck? I'm twisting the knife. It's emotionally twisting the knife. No, it's not emotionally twisting the knife. That makes no sense. Yeah, I got kind of a busy week. I'm helping my friend score a film, so I'm writing a lot of cues. He gave me a, let's see, okay, that save. Huh. Sorry, we gotta save something. Where are you? There, save. All right. And then, just trying to quit anything I don't need. No, I can save that. Okay. So, hey, Wendy, what's going on? Let's see, make sure I'm not missing somebody here. John, good to see you, man. And Bruce is in the house. Everybody's hearting. I got my coffee. I had a good birthday last week. 63. I'm an old man. And then you could also, money chords could also be taking one of the two, the 4 or the 5 chord, and making them minor. So I could take this G chord and make a G minor, and I love it because you got that open A string, and you're playing a B flat here. Woo! Is that sexy or what? If we want to do an 80s song, just do this. Oh no. That's total. Every 80s song had that lick in it. But so if I make that G minor, and that's a very kind of Beatles thing. I like making the 5 chord a minor 5 chord. So check this out. That would sound like if I'm B minor, G to A. It just kind of has a sad sound, but at the same time kind of like, wait, what's going to happen? And I could technically go to F here. So I'm just taking this shape. And the shape, let me write out the shape. Hey, music descending symmetrically, what's going on? Oh, are you adding? So the shape that I'm using, I'll do it for like the G chord here. Technically, it's a G2, is what I would call it. But what I'm playing is 5th fret and nothing, 5th fret, 5th fret, open, open. And that open A string makes it a G2 chord. Sadie, what's going on? I'm not the oldest. Yeah, that's not the case yet. I just started, Chad. I just started. And you're not alone. There's Sam is in Michigan too. I don't know who music descending symmetrically. It looks like an ad. They retracted it. Okay. We'll see if they jump back on. Don't punish them yet. Let's see what they're up to. We haven't had that kind of, like, in a long time. Kind of, what's that called? Oh. And hide and deform you. I don't know. I'm no troll. All right. That's what I meant. That was the word I was looking for. It's been a while since we've had a troll. Okay, so if I take that 5-5-5 chord and make it a 5-5-4, then that turns it into minor. So you could have G, G minor, A minor. You're not going to do B because you got that B major has a D sharp and it rubs against that D. I mean, unless you want to come kind of a Jimi Hendrix chord thing, 5. But okay, so now I'm going to hook really fast, Sadie. I can catch you up. Hold on. And then that B minor is already natural in the key. Then we have C was right here. And with that, the D there, that makes it a C2. And then you got the A, and that makes it a 9. So it's kind of like a C6-9. It's kind of a cool turbo question. Could you please clear up for me the difference between a 2 chord and an add 2 chord? Absolutely no difference. A 2 chord is, I started calling them 2 chords because I was like, why am I adding the add? Completely unnecessary. But you can put add 2 if it helps you. You might make the argument, let's see. You might make the argument that maybe that a 2 chord would be no third, but I've seen like G2 no third or G add 2 no third or something. So the reason I started calling add to a 2 chord, like G add 2, I start calling it a 2 chord, because we had G6. And I'm like, well, if we have G6, why can't we have G2? G6 is a G triad with a 6. Just because it's above the top triad note doesn't mean you don't need the word add. You could totally put G add 6, but no one's ever done that. So when I noticed that there was G6 and G7, I'm like, well, why not G2? Just a G triad with a 2 added. And G4 would be a G, like a D4, I could play like, woo! It's a great chord. All I'm doing is I'm in open D, and I'm just putting my first any finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string, and I'm getting a G note, and it's rubbing against that F sharp. Thank you, music. Hold on a second. Oh. All right, so sorry, I had to reply. All right, I'm gonna have to block this guy because you are just trolling like crazy. I'll put him in a timeout. I am not a troll. Is that a statement of a troll? Open D on a 12 string is glorious. It's just glorious. I just like drop D on a 12 string, like doing the kind of the cowboy stuff. On a 12 string just sounds so great that I call it the free range groove. The first time I ever heard it was in a 90s, probably 90s Wells Fargo commercial. It was just like kind of a subdivision 3/4 kind of thing, like 1 2 3 1 2 3 kind of breaking up the chord 4/4 rhythm into 3 3 3 3 2 2. So it's 16. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2, like that. And it's just a great it's a great pattern to kind it just to me it just kind of says you're riding your horse in the desert, it's a cowboy movie or something. Just sorry if I strum too hard. It's going to make I'll get out the blue chip picker. This has a great kind of, it's a great, hey Dennis, what's going on? Good evening. Guten Morgen, guten Tag, guten Abend, guten Abend. You're thinking about the open D the whole time. So yeah, the when you're writing, when you're playing and kind of messing around in open D, you've got, so I can show you all the chords, like in the typical key. You've got the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, the 7 chord. All right. So that would be the 1 chord. We got kind of a pseudo 2 chord, a pseudo 3, pseudo 5, pseudo 6. And the reason I'm saying pseudo is because I'm letting the top 2 strings ring out. Part of the reason I could do G like this, the 4 chord like this, and I could do the 5 chord like this, and that's fine. But there's no open strings, and it chances are you're going to be going to like a D chord, which is all open strings. So to be going from like this full bar to that, totally fine. In fact, I would do it like in. Totally in some kind of finger picking thing like that, or kind of pseudo Travis or pseudo Chet Atkinsy kind of vibes of it, I would probably go to a bar chord a lot of times. But if I want kind of the acoustic fingerstyle thing, one of the things you'll notice is that you've got a power chord. So the bottom 3 notes are a power chord. Now when I'm playing these chords, I'm avoiding the middle, the A string. But anyway, let's go over the chords. It's D is 1, and then we have the E minor 2, which is 2nd fret, nothing, 2nd fret, 1st fret, open, open. And just slide that up 2 frets. And really, this is almost like a D over F sharp. It's really hard to imply. If I maybe got rid of that top note and put my pinky here, you see that? Even then, it's just F sharps and a couple A's. So there's no C sharp in there. So that would be the full triad for the 3 chord. But anyway, the 4 chord, 5, 5, 5, open, open, skipping the 5th string. 7, 7, 7, open, open, kind of pseudo A chord. It's an A4 chord actually. We have the C sharp and the D rubbing against each other. Beautiful. And then we go up to the minor shape again, and then the minor shape again. And then the 1 chord, we could do that 12, 12, 12, open, open. But that gives us all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chords. And so if you want to write a song that's using the 2 chord to the 5 chord to the 1 chord to the 4 chord, it'd sound like something like this. Five, 1. Now, right there, I got rid of the B note. Okay, so that was kind of cool. I'm experimenting. That's what I want you to do. I want you to experiment. I want you to make beautiful mistakes. I say this all the time. I say 90% of the time or 99% of the time, and it's probably really 100% of the time. Anytime I do something that's cool or beautiful or amazing or groundbreaking, because I'm always doing groundbreaking things every day, it's an accident, 100%. And part of that is having an attitude of being willing to make mistakes. If you're really caught up on perfection, you're not going to create something new. You're going to, or you're less likely to create something different and weird and outside. And that's going to be less likely if you're really wrapped up in not making a mistake. So sometimes, and when you're got an open tuning, that's kind of the natural thing for me to do is just start noodling, because all my licks, I can't do Stairway to Heaven. It just doesn't work. Clown face. That's chord. Chord's kind of nice. So see, just by experimenting, check it out. No, I won't get a strike. You're right, Bob. Okay, so what's happening right there? What am I doing? What is that? Well, remember that if I just bar this, that's an A chord, this is a G chord, and this is a D chord. Well, if I add that note there, and I'm barring the top 3 strings, so I got most of that, and then I'm adding that note, that's the second. So this is an A2, but I'm playing a D in the bass, so it's kind of got a pedal D. That's what that's called. When you play keep the bass note the same, it's called a pedal tone. And it's because organists played pedals. Okay, and I got a surprise, not for you, but for me, so stick around for the surprise. And no, it's not another instrument. I should get something new though. I just been kind of busy. Hey, Michael North! Michael North, Strahle, So that's kind of cool. So those are just 2 chords. It's a A2, G2, and then a D2 with a pedal D. I might resolve it the second time. Gotta get the timing on it. And I could also, I could put the second on top as well, because these are both roots here. So I could even do this. I like it in the middle, and put it on top. Now, so did you see what just happened there? I was goofing around and I was saying, look, in open D I can't play normal guitar, like for example Stairway to Heaven. Now, it got pretty ridiculous fast, right? But that first chord sparked something. It's like, oh, that's cool. What is that? Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna find different ways to play the same chord. In fact, there's and I actually kind of like the way that the vibe of that, because when I'm in open tunings, a lot of times I gravitate towards doing kind of pseudo, like the everything wants to be a Travis pattern, right? But this is almost more jazzy. Right, go. Start messing around. You never know what you're going to turn up. That would be F2 over D. That's kind of creates a D minor thing. Go to C2. There's B flat 2, C2, D2. Again, I'm using a lot, it's called a pedal tone. I'm keeping that D on the bottom there just to kind of, it kind of gives it, I don't want to say continuity necessarily, but it's kind of this glue, this harmonic glue that kind of keeps you tied to the home key. If I were to change and do like, there's nothing wrong with any of that. Except that when I have if I do that with the D in the bass, so now I said something a second ago or a few minutes ago, just that you realize that in open D tuning you have a power chord down here. It'd be hilarious if Michael North joined at the same time as Walter. Oh, here we go again. Okay. All right, I have to block this user. We're so long since we almost added as a moderator. Hide user on this channel. There we go. All right, there you go. All right. So rare that we haven't had a troll in forever. This guitar is dirty right there. I gotta clean that off. Okay, so I'm so sweaty. It's a little warm. Man, it's not too bad in here. Yeah, I have a surprise, but later. So you got a power chord here. So something to be aware of, okay? And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but you... I'm not your stepping stone in D, open D. Oh, thanks, John. Well, the great thing is part of the whole reason, John, that I'm recording these, you know, I do the YouTube thing is so the lessons are forever up there. Yes, it was my birthday last week. And so, but you'll see a lot of and I can't do this kind of stuff. I mean, part of me wishes I could, but I'm not a percussionist, and I feel like those guitar players that are, you know, pounding on things and, you know, doing all that kind of stuff, they're almost more percussionists than they are guitar players. They have great facility, and I have heavy strings on. These are medium, so the top string is 13. A lot of times I notice they're playing with extra light strings because they can beat on, you know, stuff. But you can grab a power chord open hand like that. See, I'm just not sure how you get your right hand, but so say you do a pattern like, try that. So I'm on the first string. And I'm going 5th fret pulled off, 4th fret pulled off to open. Hey, Mud, what's going on? Nice to see you. No, thank you. Thank you, John. That was a blessing. And again, this is not my forte. Playing the percussion / guitar player, you know, fingerstyle stuff is not really my thing, but, you know, and I'm just like, one of the things you're going to hammer this on, you're going to try to stay close to the fret wire to get better results. And I'm not doing that. Because and it just takes practice. It's kind of motors, you know, memory kind of stuff. That's a great way to break a finger down. And there's no reason why you can't write with a pick too. You know, writing songs with. In fact, I should be working on hybrid picking. Yeah, Thunderstruck, exactly. And so basically what I'm doing there is an A triad. So I'm playing an A major triad. Got A, C sharp, and E. Anyway, it's kind of cool. It's super hard though. It's harder than it looks. I'm making it look a lot harder because I suck at this kind of stuff. But yeah, you can practice that. You can practice going overhand. You know, I've seen guys do stuff like. Ooh. Now I do know. I can do that. That's a rumba thing though. That's not the fingerstyle. But where you hit the bridge and then strum up. Usually I think of that as a minor chord kind of thing, but you're like. So what do I want? Yeah, that's a rumba thing. August Rush. Yeah, it's funny how that movie kind of made that style of playing known, but it all over the place prior to that. And that wasn't even that very good at the stuff. I don't think that kid really playing it. I can't remember. I saw the movie. It was kind of like. Usually when you see a movie, this is true for all of us. When you see a movie where one of the characters is doing a job or something that you do professionally, it's hilarious because it's like, I'm sure when they go into like in a movie or a TV show, they go into a mechanic, like a car shop or something where they're working on cars and. They got the wrong wrench for the job, and they're talking and doing the wrench, and mechanics all over going, "The heck, you wouldn't use that wrench for that, right?" It's the same thing with it's like you hear someone playing this, and they're like, it's like you're 2 octaves away from where you're supposed to be. I mean, that's the kind of thing that. Sorry, my nail's getting a little long, and I don't want to break them. That's kind of one of my things. My nails seem to be getting stronger, though. I don't know why. I'm not breaking them as much as I was. But one of the keys to not breaking my nails, because I need my nails, is to keep them lower. And I developed my fingerstyle. My finger, picking style is based on having lower nails. So that's where my tone comes from. And anytime my nails get too long, I've got all sorts of tools here. All right. So I said there was going to be a surprise. Well, like I said, the surprise is for me. And it's not. I got a chocolate croissant that I have to finish. Giant. It goes so good with coffee. Porto's is a Cuban bakery here in Los Angeles. So good. If you come to LA, in the Valley, I think they're all around LA, but not too many of them. Check out Porto's. Very good bakery. You used to get the sandwiches there, but the sandwiches are a little, a little dry. I like a moist sandwich. So I kind of, for a while there, I was. There's chocolate inside it too. And yes, I'm talking with my mouth full. Very good. Yeah, now that it's the Watch Tom Eating channel, John's taking off. All right. I don't know how many sips you take when Tom picks up a croissant. We don't have, that's not part of our drinking game. But yeah, so you can see. And so, you know, it's kind of valuable to learn the power chords because essentially you're having to relearn the low string. You know, I told you to memorize the notes on the strings, right? Well, it's not easy to do, but especially if you're not using that knowledge very often. But when we did it before, it was like E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, right? Well, that's not the case now. We got D, E, F, F sharp, G, A, B, C, C sharp, D, etc. Here's B flat. I just kind of know it because I get my brain into that tuning and I'm fine. But yeah, so all the chords, like we determined together that even going just F to E flat to D worked, right? Works better with the third. That doesn't work very good. This is where I'm just doing the power F and then go to the E. That works fine. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of weird. With that F sharp against the E flat. But if I skip that A string and go 3, X, 3, 3, open. That works. So if you want to put that in there somewhere in your song. We haven't even talked about the right hand at all. You know, like I said, I tend to really gravitate towards the Travis pattern, but that's kind of why I like this. And I also suggest that you learn all of the D scales on all of the strings so that you can play all the melody on any of the strings. So we have D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So once you learn the top string and the bottom string, you've learned the D string. And the A string is almost identical to the D string, in fact, except for, so it's a mixolydian kind of thing. So it's kind of like how mixolydian and major are very similar. If you look at the formula for mixolydian over here, it's whole, whole, half, whole, half, whole. And major is whole, whole, half, whole, half. And so you just flip at the end, instead of going up another whole step, you go up a half step, and then you get the whole step to get to the root of the A mixolydian, but it's obviously the fifth of the D chord, or the D key. But that note right there, that C sharp, that C sharp is a beautiful note to hit over the D chord. It creates that major seventh sound. You could add it to the, it's not very easy. See, I'm barring the G and adding this, but I can open up to the F sharp and I get it there. you got a birthday coming up too, Sam? Be there in 36 hours. Oh, you're on your you're on your way to LA. Right? Portos. So just if you're ever in LA, you might want to check it out. I mean, I wouldn't come out here for Portos. Nothing like that. It's not that good. But it's one of those places where you can. What I'll do is if I see a place on Instagram that looks amazing or whatever, I'll just put a star on it. Sometimes I create folders. Like if we're planning a trip to Italy or planning a trip to France or England or whatever, I've got folders on Google Maps of little markers, and that you can make notes on them and things like that. So, oh, this is where, Winston Churchill grew up, and this is where Winston Churchill's buried, and this is where he lived out his final days, and so on and so forth. Was it Blenheim Estate or something? Anyway, amazing, beautiful estate. And so I have all those markers. Well, same thing with restaurants. I'll put them on. I'll put a star on them and go, yeah, I got to go here. I got to check this place out. Okay, now the F sharp string, what used to be the G string. All right, junior hires, you can laugh, you can chuckle now. The F sharp string, a little bit tougher, but you're starting on the third, so you just go from that. On the major scale, you start on that second, after the second whole step. So you go right to a half step, whole, half, whole. What I would do in that situation, because this is kind of how my brain works, but when I have a perceived kind of roadblock there. I've got something where it's like, okay, this is going to be difficult. I'll write a song using that. I'll create some exercise or some song that will help me see the notes on that string, for example. So. Get a Lydian sound right there, right? Oh, well, breakfast. Waldorf salad, raisins, apples, lemon sugar or lemon and sugar? Lemon and sugar. I guess you would put, of course you put a little bit of sugar in Waldorf salad, yeah. Celery, walnuts, chicken, mayonnaise. That's a good salad. Well, I mean, pretty much the only time I'll eat walnuts is on a Waldorf salad. I'm not a walnut. I have a friend from high school that has a walnut farm, and it's crazy. I mean, the harvesting is like a week of back-breaking work, and then kind of lives off of it. Is my impression. I don't know if that's for real. It seems I think he's retired, but so it's like a week of harvesting walnuts. I don't know if you've seen them, but in driving up. Let's see, what is it? What is it? Pistachios? No, almonds in California. We have almond trees everywhere. Sorry, I'm gonna take another bite. It's just staring at me. Take another bite. That's a good. Look at the size of this thing. I've already eaten more than half of it. You got chocolate. It's getting all over my guitar too. All right, these jeans are dirty. These are going in the washer today anyway. I'm gonna do some yard work. No, probably not. But All right. So let's see. 35 and a half. You're already on the road, Sam. Sam's like, got the got the YouTube up here, you know, got my channel up here. And oh, I have to reply, sorry. All right, so yeah, Sam's got the Sam's got his phone up on the YouTube watching me live as he's driving across the country to go to Portos. They just put one near me in Northridge, and it's giant. It's probably the biggest one they have. Maybe not, but it's huge. Again, the sandwiches, I would, you know, typically what I'll do is I'll fall in love with a place and then I'll burn out on it because I go too much. I don't know if any of you are like that, but I do that with food all the time. I just found out that, like, I was so sad to find out that this little burger joint around the corner was closing. It'd been there since the 70s, Frosty Queen. And they, you know, they had the ice cream and everything, you know, the soft serve, and they could dip the cones. I mean, just the classic stuff. It totally felt like a Michigan place, Sam. It was totally like, you know, you walk up to the window, you order your food, or you order your ice cream or whatever, and you go sit at the picnic table and eat. It is totally like that. And when we bought the house, it's literally a block away, and we were thinking, oh, this will be great. We'll take our grandkids here someday when we have grandkids. It's like a Dairy Queen, yep. And there was a place in Petwater that it totally reminded us of. I forget what that one's called. Dairy something, Dairy Castle, or, you know, they all kind of probably all started out as Dairy Queens. And I think this one was a Dairy Queen back in the day, in the 60s, and then it got bought out or it was closed, and somebody turned it into this. When they announced on Facebook that they were closing, people started showing up in droves. Beth and I went. We had to wait like an hour to get food, just to get ice cream. But we did it just to kind of say goodbye to the place, and it was sad. But I found out there's a new place going in there that one of the worship leaders in my church. He's very excited because he says they're very good burgers. It's called Gold Burger or something like that. So we'll see. It may be $40 a burger kind of. You go there and you get fries and a drink, and it's $45, and you're like, yeah, that's not sustainable. I'm not going to be able to do that. But our neighborhood isn't like super rich or anything like that, so something like that wouldn't survive. So I doubt it's. I have to look up and see what their prices are. But I know on this place, the owner wanted to raise the rent. He wanted the Frosty Queen to pay the property tax and to fix the roof on his building, and they just said they couldn't do it. So. I think he was trying to get rid of them. I think he probably already had the new tenants, and when the lease was up, he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get rid of you." So now we can talk about slide too. So if you have a slide around or something you can use as a slide, I'm just paranoid. I'm not gonna be able to get the thing off. But anyway. One of the things you want to realize is that you've got all the chords. Everything you bar is going to be a major chord. My action is fairly low on this, so that makes it a little harder to play, but I do have heavy strings, which makes it better. But for example, got the D chord here and then I go one of the things you want to try to realize, like the 5 chord A, which is at the 7th fret, chord, you can the 4 chord is right here, so every note on the 4 chord is you can play going to or from the 4 chord. So for example, I can slide on the 2nd string. If you don't have a slide, you can use your finger just until you can get a slide. I could do that on the 1st string. So any of those notes, you can go up. And then remember all our susses, right? So I can, we talked about this before, I think playing an open G, was it? I can't remember when we did slide stuff. I don't remember what we talked about, what keys we did. You guys are, I'm sorry, Dennis is having a chocolate and vanilla custard donut, whipped cream, 1 whole lemon, a half a cup of sugar. Wow. Not for 1 serving though, right? That would be a lot of sugar for 1 serving. I'm sorry, that makes a pretty big amount. We're talking about Waldorf salad. Okay, so yes, and you know, one of the advantages to using the slide on the pinky is it does free up your other finger. So when you're thinking about writing an open D, you can always pull out the slide and add that to the arsenal of opportunities or possibilities. Okay, talk about the right hand a little bit. A lot of what I'm doing is, like I said, I gravitate towards the Travis pattern, which is kind of this thing where you're doing kind of thumb, pa, or but it seems like I'm doing this octave bass thing. So you can just start out by practicing hitting the bottom string and then hitting the 4th string. And you can go also to the 5th string. Though, you could think of that as a bass line. You could think of that, but a lot of times what I'm doing is that's the bass note and this is the chord, and I'm playing another string at the same time. So I'm going. See that? So I'm playing the bottom string, and then I'm playing the fourth and third string. Hey, 6'9", happy birthday. Mine was, when was mine? Wednesday. See that? So it's kind of like bass chord, bass chord, bass chord. It's like on piano, you go boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck. It's kind of what's happening. Clearly it was Merle Travis was kind of trying to do kind of a ragtime piano thing. And then you separate those two things. So you got the thumb on the bottom string, and then you got the two strings, and then the thumb again on the bottom string, and then you play the finger first, then the thumb. You can start messing around with, but then you can also do, instead of making the chord be your first and your thumb and your first finger, you could make it your thumb and second finger, play the second string. You can practice that for a while, and you can practice separating. You can go back and forth. So you're getting kind of a chord thing going and a melody at the same time. So I'm doing just doing kind of the D to sus4, D, so the open third string to the first fret, and then open second string to the second fret. Let's see. Yeah, where was it? Yeah, sometimes burger joints, and well, in LA too, things can get really expensive. They just, and now we've got the minimum wage for fast food workers. Now that doesn't affect small mom and pop places, but it does, because if you were a cook making $15 an hour at a small mom and pop place, why wouldn't you go work at a big franchise and make? It's not 25 yet. I think it's 20 something now, and it's going up to 25 an hour. And to pick on, it's like, I don't understand. I mean, for one thing, I've said this 1,000 times, but I'm so glad my first job paid as little as it did. If my first job paid at 25 an hour, I'd still be doing it. If I went to started working at McDonald's making $25 an hour, I might be retired now with 5 houses. Not in California. No, but yeah, it's kind of preposterous and so consequently we've lost 10,000 fast food jobs just in the first month alone of the first iteration of that law. It's only going to get worse. And a lot more automation. The McDonald's now, it's like you've got kiosks. You don't order at the desk, or you don't order at the front anymore. You got kiosks at many of them. But I think they pegged it at statewide. You had to have more than 850 employees or something like that. I don't know if that was a national thing or if that was just statewide. So if a restaurant chain that had thousands of employees in another state opened in California, and they just had 60 employees to run the first franchise, would they be obligated to pay those workers that rate? I don't know, but yeah, In-N-Out Burger is great for the money. You can't beat it. I mean, it's just they've kept their prices pretty low, and the kids love working there. Same with Trader Joe's. You've got people that have worked at Trader Joe's for 30 years. They just love working there. And I said, why? And they go, well, we get paid really well. And I went, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. In fact, the grocery store, I think like the union, the checkout union, they get, I think it's like $37.50 an hour, and on, holidays or something, that's like double to $75 an hour, something to work at in LA to be a checker at a grocery store. Although they don't tend to seem very happy, but Trader Joe's, they seem really happy. So I don't know. Anyway, and their Trader Joe prices are great, especially on wine. I mean, it's like, I'm not a big wine drinker, but you get a decent bottle of wine for $10-12 at Trader Joe's. So it's a great chain. It's always been great. The first one was in Pasadena. That was the one I always went to. The original Trader Joe's was in Pasadena, California, and it was just a little local food chain when, there were like 5 of them when I not even 5. There were 2 that I knew of, one in South Pass and one in Pasadena. And when I moved to California in the early 80s. So that's and it was privately owned until it got bought by a German company. And they've kept it kind of running the way. They didn't change anything, which is kind of cool. So, yeah. Twisted, it's a good exercise just to kind of just practice that. So I kind of was trying to show you, and I showed it wrong, I think, but if you want to have that alternating bass thing, you do bottom string, 4th string, 5th string, 4th string. So there's your 5th. Even though your thumb's moving to this clip, technically the bass line is, because when you're moving your thumb up here to hit the 4th string, you're actually playing the chord, the right hand of the piano. Boom, chop, okay? Bass, chord, bass, chord. When you get better, you can grab that, when you get that down, try different strings. Woo, sorry, my brain is just not busy. There we go. So Sam, where are you? You to Chicago yet? Just take Route 66 all the way here, man. From Chicago, straight shot. I told you my sushi chef in Pasadena from Japan, and he has a pickup truck and a motorcycle, and he's driven, I don't know, 6 times round trip, Route 66, LA to Chicago. And I said, why? He just loves it. He just loves it. He goes, yeah, nowhere in Japan can you be on the open road for an hour and not have anything. Japan is an island. It's compact. It's pretty fairly populated, although right now, I understand, I heard that 30% of houses in Japan are unoccupied because the population is crashing. So if you want to buy a house, you've never been able to buy a house, maybe try Japan. Again, so what I'm doing, thumb, pinch, thumb, separate. So. I'm only using my thumb and my index finger right now. Well, they are pretty close together, that's true. Although the thing I noticed about Japan that kind of made so much sense, nobody had grass in the backyard or front yard. They just had gardens. They were growing food, which really, technically, that should be the case. I mean, obviously, if you have 20 acres in America, you don't want to have a 20-acre garden. You're not, my brother-in-law does. He owns 40 acres and 20 of it is corn that somebody else takes care of. Like, he gets money from it, but basically they let him use his land for free. And then not free, they give him money when they sell the corn. He gets a percentage. And he also has a landing strip there too, so he can land his plane there. Which is kind of crazy because he's also got power lines not too far away. And I'm like, man, you better not come in too late. One bathroom for the whole family. Yeah. In America, I never. Someone explained to me, getting off all these weird tangents. Someone explained to me why. I'm gonna have another bite of my. Should I have a chocolate bite? I'm gonna have a chocolate bite. Ooh, look at that chocolate. Hope I have coffee. Oh, good. You'll see these mega mansions, and they'll have 9 bedrooms and 11 bathrooms. I'm like, so does every bedroom have its own bathroom? Plus, you've got a couple other bathrooms. Like, a lot of people have a bathroom off their, kitchen or out in the hallway or something. We only have 2 bathrooms. Basically, we're a 4 and 2. But 2 fulls. Well, technically, we have 2 3/4 baths because the way it's half a bath is just a toilet and a sink. At my mom's house, she actually, I guess, had a quarter bath because it was just a toilet. It was in the what we called the laundry room, the utility room. And it was where she put a bunch of crap and you went through there. It was kind of a mutter room almost, maybe. But it was pretty big, really long and skinny. And you'd get out of the garage and you'd hang your coats there and take off your boots and everything, and it was vinyl floor. And then there was wood. You step up into the family room, and that was wood. It was a beautiful house. I mean, people that bought it completely destroyed it, but took away all the charm. They gutted it. I couldn't believe it. When we went back to see my mom's house, the house I grew up in, it was like totally different house. Open floor plan, the whole bit. It's like, and they didn't change the upstairs, but it was all the downstairs. They totally changed. So, but you would go in, and there was this little bathroom and it had a door on it and stuff, a toilet, and then there was the laundry room, which between the washer and dryer there was a laundry sink. So after you went to the bathroom, you wash your hands in that sink. So technically it wasn't a quarter bath, but it was. But I didn't realize until we were in escrow. Like, I put an offer on the house, and they accepted the offer right away, which kind of was weird. And we found out kind of why later. But oh, you're working now, really? Why is that? So we have. I realized after we we got into escrow in the house that both the bathrooms we didn't have a bathtub, only showers. And I'm like, oh shoot, Beth, we don't have a bathtub. And she said, I don't care. I never used to take a bath. And I said, I don't take a bath, so really not an issue. Maybe when we have babies, but the showers are really big, and they have like one of them has a seat in it and a handrail because the previous owners were pretty old, so they had that kind of stuff put in. So we kept all that, and it's a big glass shower, super nice shower, so yeah, that was one of the features we liked about the house. But technically, if it's a half bath if it's just a sink and a toilet, it's a 3/4 if it's a sink, toilet, and a shower, and it's a full bath if it's sink, toilet, shower, or has a tub with a shower in it, or a tub and a shower. Some bathrooms have both. But yeah, it's crazy that when you have a house that has like 17 bathrooms and 8 bedrooms, it's like, what? That's a lot of plumbing. That would make me nervous. You'd be constantly fixing something. And the truth be told, we used to go in Pasadena, we would drive down to Lacey Park, which is in San Marino. And San Marino is one of the richest communities in the world. No, not one apartment building in there, not one rental. It's like just mansions. And when we would drive down to the park, there would be pickup trucks and service guys construction crews at every house all the time. People, those big houses, you have, that big, you have 10,000 square feet, which is ridiculous. I only have 7,000. I'm kidding. But, to have 10,000 square feet, you're always going to be redoing something. The kitchen's, the kitchen looks old. We got to get a new kitchen. Oh, now that the kitchen's done, we've got to get the pantry redone, or the dining room needs an update, or, we got to redo the pool, or it's just like nonstop. So yeah, I don't know. I have a friend that he's an electrician, and he mostly works on really, big mansions and stuff like that. And he did Gwen Stefani's house, and that was crazy. He did Eddie Murphy's house, and he said that when, like Eddie Murphy, it was in the contract that my friend's workers were not allowed to talk to Eddie and not allowed to look at him or make eye contact. And now before you say, well, what a diva, actually, it's like, yeah, if you got a house that big, 20,000 square foot house, and you constantly got workers there, yeah, they don't live in that house. You're trying to just go about your daily routine. You go into the kitchen and picking up your croissant and drinking your coffee. You don't want to have a conversation with somebody. You may not have time for any of that. You got to get going. Anyway, it's just like, it's crazy. Oh, that was your hometown? Yeah, Lacey Park is amazing. Yeah, well, Charlie's rich. I'm just kidding, Charlie. But San Marino is beautiful. It's a beautiful city. We would walk around it all the time. I would park and walk. People walk on my street all the time because it's a really pretty street. People will drive to my street just to walk on it here in LA. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, some of the size of those houses. So now, but if I had unlimited resources, would I have a house like that? Beth wouldn't let me. I don't think I would. I don't want a bowling alley and a movie theater and all. Studio? Sure. I've got a studio now in my house, so. It wasn't a gut punch, but it's just sad. Beth is at her childhood home right now, and it hasn't changed a bit because her mom still owns it. She just sent a picture and was like, her bedroom is the same as it was 50 years ago. Now, remember, we talked about learning the notes, the scales on every string, right? Learn the D scale on all of these. But you can also do, I love having the melody on the D string. So Charlie, where are you living now? Are you still in LA? It's a great school. San Marino School is phenomenal. My friend Dave Christensen grew up in San Marino. I don't know if you know Dave Christensen. He's my accountant. He's semi-retired. He keeps me on. I think because I do most of the work for him. I really try to hand in everything they need, all filled out, ready to go. I just need it to be. By the way, I'm rich and living in your car. Yeah, I hope that's not true. No, what? You sleep at a safe zone. Well, if I was homeless, I would definitely park my car at the beach. Because it's like, that's the best view. People pay millions of dollars for that view. So I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry you found yourself in that place, in that state, I should say. Sea Beach. I don't know that beach. Winden? Huh. Oh, wow. Oh man, so Holly's uncle was in a helicopter accident in Hawaii. My other friend that grew up in San Marino, Aldo Bentavegna, he's a helicopter pilot and he's been in a crash, but he survived. But it was, I think I told this story where there was a bad crash in the Hollywood Hills. A helicopter killed the pilot and the newscaster that was up there. And so I think the LA Times was doing an article on helicopters and how they work and, crashing and everything like that. And she went up in a helicopter with Aldo and they stalled. So it stalled. Just like, that was what she was doing the article about. And, Winden Sea Motel. Dang, 3 years. The thing is that the builders only building luxury stuff because they can't make money on the low income stuff, and so it's tough to get them to agree to build stuff. And the city is a lot slower at building things than businesses are. I did notice that they've built a bunch of new stuff in LA. There's a big new building, I think it's by the airport. It was kind of out that way, I can't remember. But yeah, probably the wait list on that stuff has got to be insane. So are you a veteran? I mean, is there any help for that? Wind and sea. Wind and sea. Okay, wind and sea. Wind and sea. Huh. Um, you've been lurking. Yeah, I would say, but I'll be praying for you, Charlie. I will. I'll be praying that you can get it all taken care of. There's a lot of people live month to month, and it's a lot of people are just 1 or 2 months away from being homeless, and so I don't know if you have any income. I know that I don't know. I'm assuming you get some kind of welfare, and one of the things is that so many people don't realize how cheap it is to live elsewhere. Missouri, Indiana, very, very cheap to live. You can, I don't know if welfare changes based on the state you're in. Okay. Yeah, Social Security isn't enough. So you're older like me. Yeah, I'm not actually counting on Social Security. But you're right. Social Security would not be enough to really, especially with the price of everything going up. And so, my dad, I know that he was making $1,100 a month on Social Security. It was nothing. But the apartment building that he lived in Connecticut, right near my sister, just down the road from my sister, I think the rent could be no more than 1/4 of your monthly income, or something like that. Like he only paid like $200 or $300 a month rent, and so he would go. He would go out to dinner once a week or so. He eat mostly at home. It's tough though when you got a fixing. I don't plan on retiring, so I'm planning on waiting until I can last possible minute take Social Security. It may not be there when I take it, but it's more than 2 times the amount if I wait to 70 than if I take it at 62. I take it at 62. So my goal is to wait until I get to 70, and even then it will be a situation where it'll be nice, but hopefully I'll still be working. Work is getting busier, so people need my skills, and that's one of the things. So, Charlie, what did you do for a living? Oh, you knew some of the Christensen family, yeah. Oh, 68. Okay, so yeah, Dave would have graduated like 79 or 80. He might have been a year or two younger than me. You get 70% of my usual pay from. I mean, what was your skill set? Is there any way? See, the problem though, my dad was like, my dad played drums and percussion. I said, I can have you play at my church and hire you, and you can make money. And he goes, I don't want to make any money because then my Social Security gets cut, or I stop getting Social Security, or it's like, yeah. So that's part of the reason I waited to 70 and a half. Also, is so that I can go ahead and keep working and collect Social Security. My job is not. This is playing guitar is not a heavy duty job. Mostly in the legal profession. So you were a paralegal. Is that something you could still do? Or were you an investigator for lawyers? You don't have a law degree though. Oh, you do have a law degree, but didn't pass the bar exam. Oh, dang. Now, okay, I'm going to Google this right now, Charlie. We're going to work on this. Okay, I'm going to Google. This is how my brain thinks, okay? What state bar is the easiest? So, what state? Of course, it's been a while, so. because it's not Wyoming. Wyoming has the easiest bar exam to pass. It's a great place to live, but it's also gotten very expensive. Pass rates by state. Let's see where California is at. Well, Kansas is listed as on this is the highest pass rate at 85%. Let's see. Kansas, Utah, Montana, Iowa. Yeah, I bet you California's at the bottom of the list. California is literally at the bottom of the list, 50%. That's the hardest state to pass in. Indiana's pretty. Where's Missouri? Like I said, Missouri's pretty cheap. If you lived in southern Missouri, it's not too cold. If you grew up in California, it's going to seem freezing. Arkansas is another state that's fairly cheap to live in, and it's kind of a beautiful state. And you can diamond mine in Arkansas. You can spend your days mining. You can digging for diamonds. Let's see. Where is Arkansas? Oh, it's pretty low on the list too. So yeah, only 60% pass in Arkansas, but not many people take the bar exam. So yeah, interesting. Oh, yeah, that's a bummer, Charlie. Yeah, the thing is, Charlie, and that was a thing. I've always been a saver. I think part of the reason my career took so long to take off was that instead of spending all my money that I made when I was in my teens and 20s, early 20s, on gear, I saved it because I wanted to have savings when I moved to California to live on in case it didn't really take off, but I was competing against guys that had much better equipment than me, and that was hard. Probably better skills too, but sometimes it's, you got to have a 12 string if they call you for, they want a 12 string or they want a Ricky 12 string, they want you to do Beatles stuff, and I didn't have any of that stuff. I had to accumulate that over years and years and years. But I was a voracious saver. I mean, when I was 7 years old, I saved my quarter a week allowance for a year to buy a savings bond that cost $17, and at 21, at 14 years later, it would be worth 20. Was it? It was $17. It'd be worth $25. It was a $25 savings bond, and I forgot I had it until I literally moved here. I ran across it and I cashed it. And it was only $25. They literally had been sitting on my money for 45 years. And they hadn't paid me any more interest once it got to the $25. I was like, and I had to pay tax on it. Like, what the F? But that saving was in my brain from day one. Yeah, and you're at a beautiful beach. And, if you can get a good shower and you get in a safe place and you got a dog, I mean, it's a pretty good life. Beach, a dog, so. Yeah. Yeah, saving, holding back 10% at least. I mean, with SEP IRA, I think I can take 25% of my income and put it into, which I have done most years. Sam hasn't seen the ocean in 20 years. Yeah, again, I wrote a song years ago about a homeless guy, and he lived at the ocean, and he lived in Malibu, and he kind of was like trying to, I don't understand the people that have these mansions here, these houses here. They're never here. They're at work all day. They're working all day to have the view that I have all day. Their view is of their computer or whatever. So Yeah, it's right. Yeah, you have to buy something for Dad on Father's Day. He's the one that gave you the allowance. It's called a kickback. That's what dads do. That's why they give you an allowances for the kickback. Yeah, I think I gave my kids $5 a week or something. I forget. They got $1, but they had to save it too. So, um, yeah. Oh, a small Camry wagon. Yeah. Well, you can visualize it here. Work on your ear training. Work on the ears so that when you get a guitar in your hand, you can hear it, and just keep stretching those fingers. Make sure they stay limber. I mean, I've got this finger's really tight right now. I smashed the crap out of. We had a fly infestation. We still don't know what caused it. When years ago, when Alex was a little kid, I think he was like 5 or 6 or 7. He had a birthday party, and we had a bunch of kids in the house, right? And we juice boxes, right? We had like one of them was strawberry juice boxes, and a kid threw it away, but he missed the trash can. It went behind the trash can, and it sat back there for a few days, and we come home from church, and it's the grossest thing. The window, one of the big windows in our apartment, was covered in flies. I mean, 100 flies. Like, we were freaking out. Like, where do these flies come in? Beth hates bugs, and so we're like killing them, and we're looking like what? And we found this juice box, and that's where it attracts them. And they had eggs somewhere, and they were just everywhere. And we had a similar situation last week, and I don't see any flies right now. We can't really figure out what happened, but we think that maybe we were gone in New York for a few days, and somebody was staying in the house for us, and they may have spilled like juice or something on the floor, on the kitchen floor, because it was sticky. So maybe there was orange juice that got spilled or something like that, or it's usually not. Or I don't find that citrus does that, or apples. I'll have an apple in a trash can for 5 days, and an apple core, and it won't attract flies. But strawberries, they are the worst. Beth left some strawberry, like the tops of strawberries, in the trash. A couple days later, we started having a lot of flies, and I'm like, "Is those strawberries?" Yeah, sure enough, it was strawberries. Something about strawberries. But yeah, so Charlie, I'm going to be praying for you this week. I don't know specifically what to pray for, except that you find maybe some way to, because it's tough. I mean, once it's hard to get that job if you can't have a place to take a shower and have an alarm and wake up and everything. So, and not that you necessarily need a job, but when does the COLA increase hit for because I understand it's going to be a pretty decent size if it hasn't already, though, but not probably enough for you to get into a place. And there are places that that will only be like 1/4 or 1/3 of your Social Security check if that's all you're living on. But I'm not sure I've ever seen of any place like that in California. Remember, I managed an apartment building in Pasadena for 25 years. I never had anybody in that situation. I had to evict people for not paying their rent. They may have become homeless, but mostly they were staying with friends. But the owner, you don't pay your rent, you can't stay there anymore. That's the contract. So pray for peace and for my dog. What's a shower? Charlie. Well, I'm glad you have sponge baths. Yeah, yeah. Well, and I'll Sunday morning I sleep in, and so I've got the washcloth, the disposable washcloths. I get basically a horse bath. Those disposable washcloths. One trick though, when you store them so they don't dry out, store them upside down so that make sure it's sealed, but store it upside down so that when you pull out one, it's got the water in it. Otherwise, it'll be dry. They'll dry out. And it's like. But that's yeah, that would be probably my first purchase if I was living in my car. Would be, I don't, just the disposable towelettes. Yep. Amen, Wendy. Thank you, Joseph. Well, you know what? I'm going to take off. I'm sorry I'm so distracted today. So many different things going on. I've got to finish this track. I'm actually writing some music, scoring some of a movie for a friend, helping a friend score. And he gave me a chase scene, so I got to work on the chase scene today. And so I'm having fun, but I've got new respect for the composers I worked for. So, anyway, God bless you all. Charlie, I'm going to be praying for you. And yeah, Wyndham Beach. Wait, Wind Sea Beach? What did you call it? I forget. Let's see. I'm going to maps. Oh yeah, there it is. Wind Sea Beach. Oh, San Diego County. Okay. I know exactly where you are. Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful area. That's a really beautiful area. And it's, yeah, so you're north of Coronado. Yep. Yep, off the 5. It's a great area. Go to Street View here, see if I can see your car. So you don't have a problem parking with, where do you park? Yeah, that's a nice beach. Well, they're lucky to have you. I hope they appreciate you. Anyway, Charlie, I'll be praying for you. Got you on my mind. La Jolla, yeah, it's about the prettiest day. And San Diego is probably the prettiest city in America, one of the prettiest cities in America. So you've chosen a good place to essentially camp. So, all right, everybody, have a good week. I will. Hey, Scott Johnson, good to see you. Thank you, Sadie. Thank you. Sorry for the all over the map kind of thing here. My brain is just. I may come up with a new thing to talk about next week. If you have any suggestions, hit Discord. Bruce, if you see a lot of suggestions about what to talk about, I can talk about stuff I've talked about before. It doesn't have to be something new. I'm always thinking it has to be something new. But we have so many different people today that we had from the get-go. I could talk about modes, which was probably the first thing I talked about. And I still want to do that mode lesson I've always wanted to teach, but I feel like I've got to do it right. And I haven't done any work towards doing that school thing I talked about. But the plan is to, is to have a conversation with somebody that can help make it happen. So facilitate a lot of stuff. But anyway, I will talk to you soon, and God bless you all, and take care of yourselves. Love each other. Love your neighbors. Love your family. You know, I always say it matters far more how you treat your neighbor than who's in the White House. It has a far greater effect on your life, how you treat your neighbor and how you treat your spouse and your kids and your parents. So treat them well, and God bless you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.